Yo, what is up guys, Ghost here, welcome back to Stormgate Central, and in today's video, I'm going to show you guys a super easy beginner build for the Celestials that just so happens to be the one that won Parting the most recent Esports World Cup in Stormgate. So I streamed the entire competition here on my channel, thank you to everybody who tuned in, it was a blast, but the finals were a little bit underwhelming. Basically, by now most of you will have heard that Parting 3-0'd Theory. And he did it with this particular build here, which appears to be this unstoppable Argent rush. It's super simple though, and that's the reason why I wanted to highlight it today as a pretty easy beginner build if you're just getting started with the Celestials. So we are going to get into that here in a second. Before we do though, if you guys do enjoy the content here on the channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Plenty more Stormgate content to come here on the channel. We're going to be doing guides, build orders, more casted games, etc. So if that's something that you're into, then make sure you hit the sub button. And as always guys, thank you so much for your support. Alright guys, so here we go. This is going to be game 1 of 3. I'm going to show you all 3 of these builds, or all 3 of the games, because he does the same build in every single game. So don't worry if you don't get it in the first one, but it's going to be pretty simple, right? He's going to be moving his Morph Core down to his Luminite and building a collection array. Nice, simple starter. So ever since I saw these games, I couldn't believe just how many Argents Parting managed to get up in such a short time with these insane rushes on Theory's base, and I couldn't wait to get my hands on the replay files, and now we obviously have those. So, once he has this array down, what he does is he's going to build a Morph Core, and he likes to build all of his buildings with Morph Cores, and this is really important for a couple of reasons. So, let me just pause here real quick and explain for those who don't know what Morph Cores do. Morph Cores can change into any building in the game for a reduced time and also for 100 Luminite less than they normally would cost. So because the Morph Core itself costs 100 Luminite, it's going to give you a 100 Luminite discount off of the cost of the building. So whether you build these buildings with the Morph Core or not, the Luminite cost is the same. However, this means you can start effectively producing the building once you've banked 100 Luminite, right? The rest of the resources that are going to be incurred afterwards, you can just get those afterwards, and the build time is drastically reduced. So you're going to see in a second here that what he does is he goes power bank, then he's going to get out his first creation chamber, then he's going to build another power bank, so there comes the first one, and then he's going to get a second creation chamber. So you're going to see this in real time here in a second. Once this Morph Core comes out, he's going to be able to build a creation chamber for 50 Luminite instead of 150, and just look at how fast that constructs. Super quick. This is really important to know for the Celestials, guys. Now, another important thing to note here is the positioning. He's not gone for this Luminite mine over here that doesn't have a creep camp close enough. There is a speed camp down here, but it's just not close enough. Instead, he's going to go for this one, and he does this in every game. He wants to be close to either the health camp, or the energy camp, or the speed camp, or whatever level 1 camp it is, so that he can kill these mobs and get the Luminite from them. And in this case, he's using Sovereign's Watch, which can only be placed on a building or the Arc ship within 15 range of a collection array. So super easy, zap, free resources, and then he throws down his second power bank. And at the same time, he's building this next Morph Core, which is going to go into the second creation chamber. So it's a pretty simple build, right? You get the collection array, and then you go power bank, creation chamber, power bank, creation chamber. And he's going to power surge both of these creation chambers here so that they build 50% faster, or they construct units, I should say, 50% faster than they otherwise would. And 1 power bank for each creation chamber is enough power to be able to do that. Now, this next Morph Core is actually not going to build the 3rd creation chamber, which will come out later. And there's a reason for that. Before he does that, he's going to go and get a 3rd collection array down here. However, you can notice that he doesn't really have the resources to do that. He is going to continually pump Argents. We can't click on them right now while it's paused, unfortunately, but you can see here, he's constructing Argents out of both of these creation chambers, and he's going to get up to a number of 6 before he cuts any Luminite at all. Now, since he's building the Argents, he doesn't have the 350 Luminite he needs now for the collection array. So what he does here is really clever. He's just going to continue to creep, right? He kills these guys, and look at his Luminite as he kills this. Boom. It jumps up, and with his mining, now he's got the 350 that he needed. In the meantime, since he knew he was going to have to wait for this, he makes another Morph Core, and this guy is now ready to make the third creation chamber. And this is the important placement, right? These two can be back home. It doesn't really matter too much where you place them, but the third one wants to be closer to the enemy's base, and then he's going to change this into the prime building, and he's going to start rallying Argents like crazy across the map. So there it goes. He's bringing down these 5-6 Argents that he's already built. And he is going to want to build another power bank here. Like I said, if he wants to power surge this, he's going to get low on power if he doesn't make another... Yeah, you can see he's on red power now if he doesn't build another power bank. And again, he's built it close to this speed camp, so he can easily kill this. So there comes the third power bank. Now, this is the build. It's pretty simple, and that's why I'm sort of showing this as a beginner build. You've got 1, 2, 3 collection arrays. You've got 1, 2, 3 power banks, and then you've got 1, 2, 3 creation chambers. So it's very easy to remember. 3 power banks, 3 collection arrays, and 3 creation chambers. Now he's going to throw down a couple more power banks, and those are useful for a number of reasons. They can recharge energy for both your Argents and the Arc ship, but you know, you don't necessarily need to have them really. So from here on out, all he's going to do is make this creation chamber the prime building and just pump Argent out of there non-stop. So Theory is going to come in here. He's found this. He actually had a nice little surround because he brought some fiends down from this way around the map. But this isn't going to be enough. You know, PartinG's micro is incredibly good, but Argents like this, they're not really the hardest units to micro in the game. They fire very slow, they walk very slow. It's pretty simple, and Theory is going to come in here and try and do everything that he can to shut this down. Alright, so at this moment, guys, there are a couple of things that I want to mention here that PartinG is doing. You can see this heal on the Argent. So there is an ability that the Arc ship has, which will give your units a heal over time. This will cost them energy, and this is the primary reason that he has his Arc ship floating around here. And at various points throughout the game, if the Arc ship is lagging behind, you can power boost the Arc ship, or power surge it, I should say, to give it a movement boost increase. And then once it's in position, you can unboost it and you can get your energy back again. So you don't have to build power banks with this specific purpose in mind, but it's incredibly powerful to have this position. You've got a couple of power banks here, and these are going to actually refill not just the energy of the Argents, which is going to make the Argents do more damage, but also, and probably more importantly, the energy of the Arc ship, so that the Arc ship can continually drop these heals on the Argents. So Theory backs off here. PartinG is just going to take this speed camp, nice and easy. I'm not sure what this imp is doing down here, to be honest with you. I think he got lost. But there is an expansion up here for Theory. So right now, let's take a look at this from Theory's position. Theory kind of has to expand here or be super aggressive against PartinG. If we take a look at the expansions, just so you know, a collection array mining, let's forget this prism. Let's just pretend PartinG doesn't have this prism, okay, even though you start with it. A collection array without any prisms mining is equal to a shrine or a command post with 6 imps or 6 bobs. And since PartinG has 3 collection arrays, that's basically like 18 imps or 18 bobs mining Luminite. So that's 1.5 base in terms of economy right there. Theory is only on 1 base right now. This attack is coming in at around 4 minutes 10. So very, very strong timing here, generally when players are getting up their expansion. And what PartinG can do here, he doesn't even have to outright kill Theory. He can just deny this expansion, and then he could easily fall back and defend. So let's say you end up going against an opponent like a Vanguard, he scouts what you're doing with his dog, and he says, okay, I see you're going for some sort of a proxy build. He goes on 1 base, he gets out, let's say, early hedgehogs, maybe builds a bunch of sentry turrets up here on his main base. You don't have to attack into this, guys. Theory leaves the game here because he knows he's lost, he's going to lose this expansion. So there really is no reason, if there is a Vanguard player, for example, hunkering down here with a bunch of sentry posts, 1 base, mech play, maybe getting some hedgehogs out, which do deal with Argents pretty handily. He can simply set up here and do a contain, and he's easily going to be ahead on one base. He could go back home and start mining Therium, he could go into Vectors, he could go into Krees, he could get some Starforge out and go into Scythes. There are a bunch of different options for the Celestial player here. Alrighty, here we are on game number 2. So this one is going to be on Isle of Dread, a much bigger map, and you may think this sort of rush tactic won't work on this map, but you would be wrong. So exactly the same thing coming out here. Surging the Arc Ship, building that first Morph Core, or rather I should say, moving the first Morph Core to make a collection array. So you guys are going to notice that this build doesn't really hinge on executing the build, but more so on, I suppose, knowing the maps, right? You have to know where the creep camps are, and you can tell this time he's going to go for this speed camp early on. So as soon as he hits that 100 Luminite, boom, out comes the Morph Core, and then once he gets to the next 100, he builds the first power bank. So that's how it goes. You get the collection array, build the Morph Core, then you go power bank, and then the Morph Core is going to turn into the creation chamber. So there we go, out comes the creation chamber. And notice he starts building the next Morph Core for the second chamber straight away here. And then he starts building the first Argent as soon as he has the Luminite ready for that. Surge this straight away. So you can also think of like 3 creation chambers with the Surge here that gives them 50% faster building speed. It's sort of like having 4.5 creation chambers, right? So second power bank coming down, same thing again here. This time, instead of placing the Sovereign's Watch on top of a building, he places it directly on the Arc Ship because this is a little further away, so you can do this as well. You just have to make sure that the Arc Ship is 15 range at a maximum away from your array, and then you can cast Sovereign's Watch there. So the first Argent is out, he's already building a second one, second creation chamber is now coming down, and he is going to build this next Morph Core again, and this one is going to become the third collection array. But all this time here, he surges the second creation chamber, and you can tell there are just Argents building out of these. So you really want to prioritize the Argent building. You know, once this Morph Core comes out, don't start cutting Argents thinking, oh, I need the Luminite for the collection array. No, you want to keep on building the Argents at least until you've got at least 6, I would say. And now he's going to go and take this as his second creep camp. And he's going to use these resources to give him the collection array. So again, he's at 215 at the moment. Oh, right, he sent it to this one, yeah, because he's got double. I was thinking, where did he send the Morph Core? He sent it back up to this one, that makes sense. 2 Luminite mines here. Theory has now scouted this. He has a Fiend here. This may cause him a bit of trouble. No, it looks like he's going to go off there and be on his merry way. And here comes the last Morph Core. This is going to be the third and final creation chamber. And there should be a power bank going down here as well, because I believe he only has, yeah, he's got 2 power banks there. So he does need a third one. And there it comes. I like this positioning as well. You can see he's really thought this through about the camps. He starts off taking this camp. He's also taken that one. So then second, he took the health camp. Then he took the observation camp here. So he's not going and making a beeline across the map straight for theory. He's using these units to get himself extra resources so that he can make more collection arrays and more units. That's what this build is all about. Now the last creation chamber is down here, and you can tell he's built it close to this Luminite camp. I wouldn't recommend going for the Luminite camp or the Therium camps because those are level 2 camps at the start of a game. They are a little bit tough to deal with this few units, but I like the fact that he's building this here. So he has the option, and you can also tell in this game he's built a link node here that is going to become probably a spark node. So he's now surged the Arc Ship. He's moving forward here with his attack. How many Argents do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, there's one there as well. No, that is 9, I think. Okay, so 9 Argents coming across the map. And poor Theory is just moving out now to take his expansion. Again, look at the timing here. This one is hitting even quicker. Last game it was 410. This one's hitting at around 344, even though it's a larger map, really, because Theory didn't come in and attack him. In the last game, he tried to attack this position, if you remember, This turn, that hasn't happened. So he's going to move straight in here and deny this expansion. So already, in a way, this is a win for Parting because he's denied the expansion and he's ahead. As we talked about it in the last game, 3 collection arrays is like 1.5 base. And then he also has that 1 prism. So he's targeting down the gaunts here. And you may be asking yourself, Ghost, you know, is this build going to work against Celestials? Is it going to work against the Vanguard? And the answer is yes, it can. The Vanguard, I would say, could pose the biggest problem with the 1 base Hedgehog play and the Sentry Post defensing with the Repair-O-Matic. But in that case, you just, like I was talking about last game, you just don't commit, right? You don't have to go in there. You can just contain and deny expansions, go and take the map control, take all the camps, and just tech up. So here again, focusing down all of the gaunts. And you're going to notice him using the heal from the Arc Ship every now and again. That's why, that's really the only reason that the Arc Ship is close here. It's to get the heals down on the Argents. The Argents are quite tanky. So it's fairly easy to micro that and make sure that they do get healed. One gets picked off there. But all the time this is happening, right, there are 3 production structures building units. So Theory is just in a world of trouble. He's only got 1 Conclave and he's got 1 Iron Vault. And by the way, he has Plague Axes coming up here. This is pretty early for Plague Axes to be coming up, so he couldn't really be getting this much earlier. But, you know, in spite of that, he's still going to lose this game. So I think this is a very interesting lesson. This isn't the greatest game to cast here because it's extremely one-sided as a series, but I think it is a great lesson in just how good of a build this is by Parting and how effective it is. You know, even though the Celestials have seen some significant nerfs in the last patch, you used to be able to cast Sovereign's Watch on any building, not just buildings at the collection array. But in spite of that, Parting still manages to find a way to make this work. So he's going to move all the way back to his sort of forward base here, and he's going to rely on that strike node to deny Theory getting in there. Again, you know, it may look like Theory's getting some decent picks here. He's getting some decent kills on the Argents. He's got some Infests going off here, and while he was pushing him back, he is killing some Argents and spawning some Fiends, as you can see. But it just doesn't really matter, because Parting is already going to win this macro game. He's making units far faster than Theory can make units at the moment. It doesn't really matter if he loses. And look at the heals going down there. And this is the beauty of the Arc Ship. In a second, you're going to see that. Look at that. Look at the energy right there. It throws down a bunch of heals. I think it's 25, either 20 or 25 energy per heal. And this is like it's like a dot, or a hot, I should say, a heal over time. Very, very good ability. And it's back to 100 energy almost instantaneously. And Theory leaves the game. Alright guys, game number 3 on Boneyard. So this was a best of 5. And if you guys know anything about Parting, he basically just goes for the same tactic again and again and thinks, oh well, you know, let's throw this at you again and see if you can deal with it this time. And if you deal with it, then we'll change tactic next game. And this game, something is different. As you can see, Theory is sending 2 imps across the map. So right now he hasn't even scouted this. He has no idea what Parting's doing, but he's just assuming that he's going for the same build again, and he's 100% correct. He is going for that same build. Collection array is coming down. And in a second we're going to see a Morph Court coming out of Parting. The Hexen's there. Parting sees this, but it's not a big deal. I'm not sure if he saw the imp there. But what this imp is going to be doing is building a meat farm here. And the other imp is going to be building a Shroud Stone right there to try to deny the Celestial player. And this is really the only weakness, I would say, of the build, is that you're spreading yourself a little bit thin in the early game by building 2 arrays. This starting one especially is open to harassment from a dog or something like that. You do always have Sovereign's Watch. You could use that, use a little bit of power. And notice, by the way, very good usage of Power Surge here. He's Power Surged the collection array, and what that actually does is increases the regeneration rate, the health regen of the Prism. If you look at the Prism, look at that. It's regenning its health here, and it's denying the kill from this Hexen. Not an ability you see used on a collection array all too often, honestly. So, let's just quickly go over some little changes that Parting is doing here. He's got that first Morph Core out. He built the power bank as normal. He built the first creation chamber as normal. He power surged it. But he's made a link node here to try to defend a little bit and deal with this meat farm. And what you're going to see him do is delay the second collection array. So he's not going to go instantly for that Morph Core, the second Morph Core. It's coming up now, but he made sure he had a second Argent building. He wants to prioritize getting Argents up here to deny this. So now the second Morph Core is coming out. This is just really not that big of an issue. Now, the Prism has started to take some more damage, and now Theory has a couple of Fiends in here as well. He's made a Brute, he's split the Brute, and he's sent 2 Fiends across the map. And this is trouble for the collection array. The collection array is down to 50% HP. But you know what Parting's going to do? He's just going to float both the collection array and the Prism away, and he's just going to set it up on a completely different Luminite mine. And he's decided to set it up on this one all the way down here. Now, you may be thinking, how is this going to alter the build? Because now Parting is only mining from the 1 collection array instead of 2. Collection arrays are painfully slow. It's going to take it a long time to get across there. And the answer is that Parting, instead of going for 3 power banks, 3 creation chambers, and 3 arrays, he's just going to get 2 of everything. So there comes the second power bank. He realizes that he's defended this attack now. Down goes the meat farm. The Shroud Stone is there doing absolutely nothing. Oh, the Morph Core, in fact, is already out and moving across the map. So instead of building 3 creation chambers here, he's just going to make this his forward creation chamber. And if you look at the time, this attack is probably going to hit around the same as the one in Game 2. So Theory thinks that he's actually gained an advantage here and that it's going to have set Parting back. In actuality, it's not really set back the timing of the attack at all. It's just going to be a little bit of a weaker attack. Instead of having like 12 Argents or at least 10, he's only going to have around 6 or 7. But that's okay, because just before he moves out here, we have to consider that Theory made a big sacrifice himself, right? He sent 2 imps right at the start of the game, all the way across the map here. That is a big commitment economically. That's really going to slow down your economy. Not only did he send the imps and stop mining, but he sacrificed both of those imps and then spent, I think it's 50 Luminite, right, for a Shroud Stone. Maybe it's 100, don't quote me on that. And then it's 50 or maybe 100, I don't know, for the meat farm. Anyway, point being, he spent money that he's not going to get back. So he's also going to have a weaker army. And Parting knows this, so he's not freaking out about not being able to build or do his build to perfection. He's just going to move out with 2 creation chambers and hope that this is enough. And it is going to be enough. So, almost identical timing here. 350, he moves into the expansion. Around, like, 350, that is when you can be expecting your opponent to be expanding. The Infest comes down there. Effigy's going down. Nice surround, actually, on a couple of these Argents here by Theory. But they're just so tanky at this point in the game. One of them does go down, but really, really nice heals there from the Arc ship. And he's throwing down a power bank here right at the front. So he can keep this heal game going. He can continue to apply pressure with the Argents. And he can re-energize the Arc ship. So yeah, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Argents there. Now an 8th joining the rest. But just like I said, right, you can just tell that Theory doesn't really have a lot. He doesn't have that Ritual Chamber and the Plague Axes like he did in the last game. So he too has sacrificed to do that very early attack. And honestly, I kind of feel for Theory. I'm not sure I would have known what to do in this situation either. I did think we may just see him go for a 1 base play. Like, not try. Don't invest into this massive 400 Luminite building here with the Imp, with the cost of the Imp. Just go for like a triple Conclave or something like that, or maybe like Conclave double Iron Vault and try to shut this down. But I'm honestly not sure that would work either, because, like I said, in the other 2 games, the Celestial player just comes out ahead because they have the better economy. So, super, super solid build, guys. I hope I showcase that. I've used it a bunch myself. It is very effective. It's not the hardest thing to micro. It's not the hardest thing to execute. Extremely effective. So go out there, use it, have fun with it. I think it really helps players get to grips with creeping around the map and the importance of, you know, taking all of these camps here and the Luminite that they can provide you. And it should help you get to grips with the mobility of the Celestial faction and just what it's capable of. So, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a like down below. Subscribe for more Stormgate content like this. Good luck in your games, and I'll see you guys in the next video.